All right, we're continuing our marathon catch-up through Monogatari, and we're actually kind of, sort of, almost there. Just 5 more chapters to read until we are caught up with the rest of the world. The long marathon scanlation session, which again, I just cannot praise enough, came to an end 25 days ago, and since then there has been a reasonable 1 chapter. So I think that'll be kind of our pace going forward, barring any unforeseen difficulties in the scanlation process or anything like that, which is a very acceptable pace to me for such a fantastic series. So, chapter 51. They're in the bookstore, Hanekawa and Araragi, when they encounter someone who has been on Araragi's mind, someone who he was thinking about from his childhood and had encountered in the strangest of places, the stone steps leading away from the violent snake massacre, Sengoku Nadeko. He thinks of her name immediately. That! Hanekawa's still teasing him. Here we get a cool title page. Sengoku posing like some sort of Maho Shoujo with her magical girl items, those being a mallet and nails. That's rough. That's pretty rough. It's not the kind of cute transformation I think she has dreamt of, but it is a transformation nonetheless. See that? That's where I think... Ooh, and Araragi, suddenly caught up in his memories, thinking about Sengoku, has totally lost the thread of the conversation with Hanekawa. That's what I think. Senjogahara-san's feelings. She's only helping you get closer with Kambaro-san and tolerating you and I being after school like we are now. Tolerating you and I being alone after school like we are now. I'm being tested. Is that it? Oh, so Araragi, quite suspicious of his girlfriend. Quite suspicious of her machinations. Thinks that perhaps all of this is just to test him. You're flimsy and weak, Araragi. I know that, but it really hurts to have to put into words. Because you were just 2 seconds away, right? So Hanekawa, perceiving, perhaps correctly, that Araragi is not so undefeatable when it comes to seduction, that his love for his girlfriend is powerful, but maybe not transcendently so. That in the end, he can still be tempted by the flesh, as they say. Just being nice to just about everyone is pretty irresponsible. Think from Senjogahara-san's perspective, your attitude of being nice to everyone is worrying. As her boyfriend, you should be completely dedicated to her. And yet, putting it into extremes, you're making it seem like you'd be fine with everyone. That's about it. And I think this is somewhat compelling. If we think back to Senjogahara's wonderful confession, which if I can paraphrase, it was, I realized it wasn't about me. It wasn't because I'm me. It's because you're you, which I think is just such a radiantly beautiful sentiment. She's both admiring this, she's both very moved by this quality of Araragi, and yet can also be kind of distraught by it. You know, it's one thing the first time that he goes out of his way to heroically save another girl who fate has befallen upon her with a curse, that being Hajikuji, but then for it to happen again and again with basically any girl who walks on set, it's reasonable that she might start feeling a little jealous, that she might start wondering if he sees her as special in any way whatsoever. Easily get carried away by things. Don't want to hurt people. This is a cool shot. Hanekawa dangling her glasses, showing that this is how she sees him. Oh, that's neat. Flicking her glasses at him. He scrambles to catch them. And even now, you just think of me as a friend. If I get into a pose like this, you'll start thinking that you have to do something and be rude to me. Am I right? Yeah, that's how she got him last time. That's how she made him make that stupid kissing face. Yeah, I guess, yup, let's put it that way. And Hanekawa knows that it's not just about, you think you have to do something that would be rude to me. She knows as well that he gets completely flustered and various animalistic parts of his mind start revving up in competition with one another. But in the end, they're both aware of like what could happen that's even worse, I guess, than just Araragi's natural heroism and friendship. But she's saying even that is too much. Even that can put you into irresolvably awkward situations. And again, all of this, so masterfully, not just kind of summarizes the situation up until now, not just kind of delves into the characters as they are now, but foreshadows a major problem, a major kind of complication of the Sengoku arc. That she is so obsessively in love with dear Araragi-kun. Am I right? Being ruder to Senjigoro has something anyone else, right? Because after this Araragi-kun, it won't just be Kanburo-san. You're gonna keep encountering girls. Oh my god, look at this premonition. This premonition of the cast. Senjigoro-san believes in you. Despite all that, she's sure her hand will be the only one you grab. Let's look at our upcoming girls. I'm pretty sure I can recognize all of them. In the back, of course, we have Kanburo. In front of her is Hajikuji. There we have Tsuhiki. It's her name, right? And behind that, Gaian. I think perhaps one of my favorite characters. So powerful, so inconquerable. Then we have Karen, of course, the other of the Fire Sisters, whom we've briefly seen so far. In the back, with the twin tails, is Math Girl. Sodachi, I think her name is. And next to her, I think, is the premonition of short-tailed Hanekawa. Or is Hanekawa not counting herself in this? If it's short-haired Hanekawa, I think it's short-haired Hanekawa, because who else could it be? And then we have Sengoku, the subject of this arc, posing so cutely with her hat and her overcoat. And Yatsugi, one of my favorites, who hasn't appeared yet, and won't for quite a while. She's definitely one of the endgame girls with Gaian and whatever this entity is behind her. And in front, our dear little Shinobu-chan. Oh, so much fun to have. Okay, so for a while I've been kind of worried that the manga is only going to cover Bakemonogatari, because they're calling it very explicitly Bakemonogatari, and not like Monogatari series manga or something like that. And it's just so good, and it must take so much effort to make, and they've already made like 5 or 6 volumes, that I was like, man, if they just ended it with the end of Bakemonogatari, I couldn't say I wasn't satisfied. I couldn't say that I wasn't impressed. I wouldn't, you know, like, I would forgive them. I would be more than happy with that. But now that they've done this, now that they've foreshadowed characters that won't show up for many, many light novels after Bakemonogatari, I don't know. I'm getting my hopes up again. Okay. This was a very, very hype panel. Her hand will be the only one you grab. I'm wrong. She wants to believe you'll grab it, I guess. That's why you can't just be that flimsy against temptation. I'm getting popular recently because you're getting too full of yourself. Oh, Hanekawa is so good. Just these little jabs. Just jabbing at him. Thank you for the lesson, Hanekawa. Oh, she's so great. Ha 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 ha. Oh man. Oh, it's gonna be even more brutal when we get to the Hanekawa arcs. Given how cute we've seen her, given how playful and fun she is in these times. Oh, see, right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The visual contrast. I don't think you can do it in any other medium. Only manga can bring this out to such a degree. In anime, the pacing is determined for you, okay? So the cut from happy, jovial Hanekawa to this indescribably pained Hanekawa, this profoundly pained Hanekawa, is going to happen whether you're ready for it or not. It's not, you know, after you've finished contemplating the previous page, you turn the page and boom, it's advancing anyways. And then in the light novel, how could you possibly do it? How could you possibly just say, Hanekawa was sure happy laughing at Araragi, but when she turned away, a painful face she made. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, and yet it's so sad. This is what I'm saying. It's so sad. And the cat's eye, and the lightning within her, that stress, that envy. Actually, I scored a lot better than I found the last exam. Maybe it was because of the way Shinjigara taught me. She's quite a Spartan. Why do we even need that? Your grades got higher. That's what she said, but instead she was happy after all. After all, she said your mission is to make sure I don't get them back here. Better work hard. Yeah. Like with Senjogahara and Araragi, it's just such a complex high-level play that you can't even put it into words. Like you can't even think about it in terms of what is actually being said or what conversations are actually being had. Don't tell Senjogahara yet. I'm trying to get into the same university as her. No, you don't want to disappoint her. Good for you, Araragi. Oh my god, it's so painful. It's so painful for her in both ways. When he seems flimsy about the relationship and available, the temptation tears her up. But when he's resolute about his girlfriend, and the true love between them becomes evident, the hopelessness tears her up. Our poor Hanekawa is just torn up every time she hears the name. Well, this is so wonderfully depicted. And this isn't even the theme of the arc. This is like this is not even what's happening, you know? Like this is just all foreshadowing. It's just so great the way that all of these kind of balls are kept suspended in the air. That all of these characters are so loaded with meaning and potential that they're all just going through their own things. And oh my god, she whips around, biting her lip. She's had enough. Right? Are you going to college, Hanekawa? I guess none of that has kind of come out yet. She couldn't get angry at him because it was finally her turn. I love this kind of chorus of the bookstore employees that have been following this entire conversation. Not eavesdropping because they're just yelling at each other. Feeling so sympathetic for Hanekawa. I won't go to college. So this is the first time she says it, I guess. And I'm just so impressed at how they can shift kind of in and out of arcs and with different characters as the focus and stuff, because this of course is going to warrant some conversation. She's like the #1 student in the country. she regularly places first of the entire nation in mock exams. She's saying she won't go to college. It's about finances, a scholarship early. You're actually being fought over as a first pick in the draft. It's quite fun. Everyone picking Hanekawa. I'm going traveling. Once I graduate, I want to go see the world. Of course. It's a secret, okay? All my teachers will get shocked. I'm shocked too. Oh, these little in-speech bubble versions of themselves are so cute. Ah! But yeah, Hanekawa's vow to travel, I've always thought was really beautiful and really kind of unique to have a character kind of vowing to write herself out, vowing to disappear from the series. And of course she doesn't disappear fully, but for the most part, she does kind of take on this sort of transcendental act, where she removes herself from the contention of the rest of the series. It's quite interesting. And what this signifies in Japan, it may not be apparent if you don't know kind of about Japanese culture, but in Western culture, taking a year off to go traveling is pretty commonplace. It's actually quite encouraged if you have the means to do it, to take a gap year, to go backpacking, to do all this sort of stuff, either between high school and university, or probably more commonly after university, but before you start a job. In Japan, that sort of thing is much, much less common and has like a much more long-lasting ramification on your professional life. In Japan, it's very common that if you kind of fall off the prescribed path of life, even totally voluntarily, it will be seen as a black mark for your entire career. The most extreme example I can think of is the practice in Japan of hiring entire graduating classes. So let's say a university has an engineering program, some 200 people graduate. Toyota or some other gigantic company that has the need for a lot of engineers will say, we're going to hire the entire graduating class. And of course, the benefits are quite apparent to this sort of scheme. You don't have to look for a job afterwards. That takes off a lot of pressure. You've got a nice one lined up already. Toyota gets a team of people that have been trained together that probably already have a lot of camaraderie. They get a lot of kind of comparative information about all of the people, given that they're going through the same sorts of settings, and they can kind of appropriately plan for this new workforce. But the hidden devastating side effect of this is, let's say for whatever reason you don't want to work in Toyota. Okay, you decline the graduating class offer. Or let's say you do get accepted, but because of whatever circumstances, you have to quit, or you've been fired, or whatever. Okay? Now, going forward, on your resume, it says, Kyoto University Engineering class of 2019. And every single employer knows, hey, wasn't that the class that got mass hired by Toyota? And then they're going to go, why aren't you at Toyota? And there's really no good answer to that in Japan. The very fact that they're asking you that question already puts you at such a major disadvantage to everyone else. So this sort of thing, doing something like taking a year to go traveling that just puts you out of sync with the rest of the workforce is like a huge sacrifice. So Hanekawa saying she's going to do this isn't just kind of like a typical student, I want to go see the world. But like something that she really seriously is saying, I am prepared to sacrifice a lot for this opportunity. Glad I told you about it. I wanted you to be the first person who knew about this. Going home then. Headaches are getting a bit worse. Ooh, and Araragi, I think, can remember what this might be a symptom of. Her accumulating stress, of course, accompanying her transformation. Not home. Of course, she doesn't really want to go home. For her, home is not a place that exists. Araragi misspoke briefly, but has already kind of sealed himself away from being able to help with this. He's cauterized the wound that he so briefly opened. It's been happening a lot recently. Don't worry about me. Just look at the other textbooks. Bye. Thank you very much. So Hanekawa leaves. Don't worry about me. I want to, though. But he's got other people to worry about. Who did he just remember? Of course. Sengoku. Sengoku Nariko. There she is. The shot is so good. Oh, just the tone variance of the series is so fantastic. The way that the shopkeeper is just staring at him. Oh, it's all so perfect. Damn it, it's hard to call out to her. But maybe she forgot about me. I don't know about that. So she puts back a book. This is his first clue. What book was she reading? I want to know. Poor shopkeep. This poor long suffering shopkeep. Oh, so what does he find? It's the complete encyclopedia of banned books. All you need to know about global curses, rituals, curses, and the world. Okay. Interesting. So this makes him, of course, very suspicious about the sorts of things he saw in this horrific cover with the eyes on the brain and the nails. The nails, of course, the nails. You can only draw one connection. All right. Let's see what happens next. This is a very cute picture of Shinobu. But lots of uncute things happening before that. Good gosh. Okay, that's all for now.